What's up, guys? I'm Ari.
And I'm Shaggy. Hello.
And you're watching the Shaggy and Ari Show.
This week, it's all about
the apps.
What kind of apps? You know, a lot of people in Singapore here, we complain about SMRT.
Yep.
But we know that there are actually many other forms of transport that all of us would like to use and enjoy.
So basically, you have the trains, buses, private car or
Private
the cabs,
hire,
taxi,
and taxis.
and lastly, it's the bike rental.
The newest addition to our sort of public transport option here is the bike rental.
So since we are facing a problem with SMRT, there are other alternatives that we can explore. And what do you normally use besides the MRT?
Well, okay, the thing is, right, when we take SMRT trains, right, we use it more for long distance transport. But the other option for long distance transport is actually your buses.
Yep. So there are different companies that have been introduced. One, the long-standing one is SPS. Then there's Go Ahead Singapore.
Yeah.
As well as there's another one, right?
We have Go Ahead Singapore and Tower Transit.
Tower Transit.
Okay, the thing about buses and public transport in Singapore is it's not that you get to choose the different types of companies. It works in a different way. So I don't think that comparing the different companies is useful for us. I think it's more useful for our Land Transport Authority, LTA, and also for Land Transport Authority as well as the people who work for this company. So the staff. That the comparison between the companies for them is more relevant to these two parties. So we're gonna look at the apps that we use to take the bus.
Usually I will just flip out the SG Buses app to get the necessary estimated time of arrival for the buses. I don't really choose between the different mode of as in the different companies involved. Apart from that, we can use the estimated timings on the bus stops readily available.
So the question here is, right, what process do you use when you take the bus? How do you know what bus to take, and like before you start using the app?
Okay, number one, I don't go out a lot. I usually go out to
work
places
and all that?
where I normally go lah.
Okay.
So when I go to places which are unknown, I flip out the Google Maps app, and find out all the different buses and how to get there. And from there, I explore the different routes that are available at the bus stops, and I just explore from there.
You see, I used to use another app to do that, called GoThere.sg, but then I realized that app gave me inaccurate timings for the bus.
Seriously?
Yeah, no. Back then, I think this is many years ago when I was working somewhere else. But recently, I realized that Google Maps is actually good enough. I think Google Maps, even though it's quite ubiquitous and a lot of people know about it, it's quite underrated to use to look for what buses to take.
In Google Maps last time, the thing that I am quite disappointed with it now is that when you zoom to that bus stop that you're using, that you want to go to, when you press the bus stop, you're unable to see all the different buses that are available in that bus stop. Now, that's something that I'm not happy about.
I think you can. The thing about that, right? I don't know why they do it in a different way. Let me do my screen recording and show you. Okay, so screen recording, and here we are. So I'm gonna pull down my notification bar, or rather I'm gonna lock my screen first and open it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let me do that again. Sorry. So apparently today I learned that when I lock my screen on my iPhone, it stops the recording. So if I flip here, I have up here is my calendar alerts, first one. Then the second one is news, weather. Then there's this segment called Google Transit Departures, where they list all the different bus stops around you. Do you see it?
Yeah, actually there is.
When you swipe, yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, Google tends to hide these options, but they tell you, number one, what bus stop. Number two, what time the buses are coming. But it's not all the buses though.
Yeah, so we toggle between the two different apps to get to wherever places that you can go using the bus.
app that you use, what's it called again?
SG buses.
SG buses. For me, right, I use Nestia. Since we are on the screen recording mode. Okay, I use Nestia. This is Nestia. And Nestia is actually a suite of apps. There's so many things that you can do on it. But for me, personally, I use more on the buses. And you get to choose which bus stop you're at. And then they will show you. I like the way they display the information for Nestia. And then they show you the upcoming bus and the bus after it, how long it takes. So it helps you to plan your journey. So like Ari mentioned, I also use a combination. So I always start with Google Maps to show how I'm gonna get from point A to point B, and then I see the buses. And from there, when I see the buses, I look at Nestia to find out.
That is cool. So I've been sticking to SG buses. I might try Nestia and see how it goes. So apart from buses, there are cabs and private hired companies.
Oh yeah, that makes me realize. So you have your Grab, you have Uber, and then you have a new entry that has been around for I think a few months already, ComfortDelGro. So have you used I think everybody has used Grab or Uber.
Yeah.
And there's a debate like which one is better, Grab or Uber. For me personally, I use Uber. I believe you also, right?
Yes. But I would like to share my reservist story. I'm a person that once I try this app and I'm comfortable with it, I just stick to it no matter what. But I've been sharing with my other reservist friend who will literally toggle between all the different apps, Comfort, Uber and Grab, before he decides which one is cheaper. And he has a lot of credits in Grab, if I'm not wrong. They have credits.
I think they have a point system.
Point
like a loyalty
system will
system,
decrease. Like you can cut the amount of things, as in like cut the pay, the cost of that ride. And
using the points.
Yeah, using the points.
For me, I had too many bad experiences on Grab that I have stopped using Grab for many years already, and I don't see myself using it anytime soon. Call me biased, but that's where I am right now.
The thing that I'm disappointed about Grab is that the driver is able to know where you go, and they are very picky.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole point of all these private hire apps in the beginning is to counter our taxis. So in Singapore, before this, right, we had this problem whereby you have to flag a taxi on the road, and when you finally flag the taxi driver will ask you, where are you going? And then if you're going to maybe the west, usually this is the norm. If you're going to west side, or if you're going to like Woodlands, they will usually don't want to pick you up.
Or for example, if you're staying in the east, like me in Tampines, and you're from Changi Airport, the ride is too close, therefore he doesn't want to take you.
No, or they will take you and then they will give you attitude. So I think all of us, because the taxis in Singapore have enjoyed a very strong monopoly over private transport, so-called private hire, that they are so used to their position, and now that you have Grab and Uber disrupting it, they have to improve, which leads me to the ComfortDelGro app. Have you used it?
I've tried it once during reservice, and it has a flat rate system.
Yeah,
So
I think that's interesting.
If I'm not wrong, Uber still, even though it states like for example $35, but because of certain reasons, it takes a longer time, maybe ERP or whatever, it increases by a bit. Does it
Really?
happen that way in Uber?
I know when I use Uber in Kuala Lumpur, it happened to me, but in Singapore it doesn't.
Huh.
So, how Uber fixed rate fare works, right, is that they already incorporate time and distance in the fare, as well as one more factor. If there's any ERP or tolls, right, they will incorporate it into the fare already.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's for Uber. But the problem with Uber and of course Grab afterwards, right, is that there is something called a surge pricing.
Oh, that's how they counter. Okay, I really thought that how they counted the flat they introduced the flat rate is because of the like fluctuation in the fare.
You're talking about ComfortDelGro, why they introduced the flat rate.
I thought
Yeah,
that was-
so I think one of the strategies for ComfortDelGro is that they decided to do this flat rate to compete with the surge pricing for Uber and Grab. So when they have this flat rate, I feel encouraged to use ComfortDelGro when Uber is surging. I have used the ComfortDelGro app several times when the Uber surge was too much. Sometimes I can save 10-ish dollars and above.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes so crazy
Yeah.
to the point where, for example, I'm from Tampines going to Jurong Camp. It surged all the way to $50.
Yeah. But then when you use your ComfortDelGro app, it's not so bad, right? The recently I've used Uber less because okay, let me tell you some of the strategies. So a lot of people use Uber and Grab because they have a lot of discount codes, right?
Yep.
So I follow this Telegram group. So apparently Telegram, what makes it interesting is that you can follow certain Telegram has like Telegram, I don't know what to call it, groups or message board or whatever, where they Telegram bot, where they update you what's happening. So here I am on the Uber, Grab and Taxi Telegram bot, where they show you promo codes and all that for Grab, Uber and also Comfort.
Seriously?
Yeah. So Telegram has this thing lah. And what I notice is every time Uber publishes a discount code, 90% I can expect that my account cannot use this discount codes.
Because everybody already knows about it.
No, not because a lot of people has used it and we have maxed out. Because some of the discount codes for Uber is a targeted promo code, so certain users can get it and not all.
Oh.
And I feel very neglected by Uber because I'm always excluded from all the discount codes that they have.
They usually target new users, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so I think I have a problem. I won't call it a problem lah. I have this thing. I'm actually a Live Up subscription member. Live Up is a program that allows you to get discounts and all that from Uber, Netflix, RedMart, and my favorite shopping place, Lazada. So you get discounts, you get rebates and all that. For Uber, when you're a Live Up member, if you take 9 rides, your number 10 ride has a $10 discount.
/$10 out.
Yeah. But I don't know why that make me lose out in terms of, I don't know. I also think that
some, I guess.
yeah, that's life, you know. But that's life. Common One 2017.
That, I suppose, that is life.
So I feel neglected by Uber, so I've taken Uber less. So nowadays I've taken more buses.
The good thing about Uber and Grab is that they are not taxi drivers, and usually when you speak to them or have a nicer conversation compared to taxi drivers. That's what I feel lah. Most of the time, some of them are executives outside, some of them are professionals. I'm not saying that taxi drivers are not professionals, but
You're saying that they come from a different type of job background lah. So they have other things. They They are better conversationalists. They are more well-rounded. They got more topics to talk about. Is it?
Yeah, because taxi drivers are usually very grumpy, in my opinion, and very dangerous as well. When they
Why?
drive, like okay, so for Uber and Grab, most of the time they are using petrol for their car, so they don't have any rebates or discounts. For cabs, they use diesel, so they can afford to rev sometimes above 90, and for Uber and Grab, the drivers are generally much more safer because they number one, they don't want to use too much petrol, they want to save, and you can expect a much more relaxing drive when using Uber and Grab. That's what I feel.
What I like about Uber is that they tend to use, like you were talking about fuel, right? They tend to use fuel efficient cars, hybrid cars, and those cars always give you the best experience as a passenger. And I feel it's also good for the environment because it's a hybrid car. Sometimes it uses electricity instead of petrol. I think for the drivers themselves, their incentive is when they use a hybrid car, they will use less petrol.
But again, the downside to it is that Uber and Grab, they are bound to the app and not the knowledge of the driver. So if you're taking carpool, for example,
okay.
so the app itself is designed to go to whichever route and whichever comes first. So for a taxi driver, if you share the cab, the driver gets to choose which route that he wants to go, and from his experience and knowledge, bring you to
That's not true
destination
actually.
faster. Not true?
I have to kindly disagree because I think taxi drivers in Singapore are trained to ask the customer or the rider which route they prefer, because they don't want to be responsible. Let's say they take a route that they like without informing or getting the customer's approval. They don't want to be blamed for lateness or going a longer route. They don't want to be in that situation. Anyway, I would like to cover something that I believe is a positive thing about the ComfortDelGro app. I feel that because of all this competition from Grab and Uber, Comfort decided to come up with their own ComfortDelGro app. As a result, I see some improvement in the service in terms of taxi drivers, our traditional taxi drivers. Yeah. So some of the improvements I find, right, is that number one, I think this is relevant to most people, is that taxi drivers, at least from ComfortDelGro, so you're talking about your Comfort cab, your blue cabs, and also your City cab, the yellow cabs. When you tell them that you want to use cashless options,
Oh yeah.
they are very receptive. So how receptive are they? I have used Nets, and they don't complain. I ask them, I try not to call them uncle. I call them Mr. whatever. Can I please use Nets? And they're like, oh yeah, can. And I've tried my luck and asked them whether I can use PayLah, and they are also receptive to it. Not only that, you can see that the taxi drivers now, unlike last time, they make the effort to be more open-minded to the new forms of payment. Yeah, they are like, oh, can try, never mind. They are not like, oh no, spoil, or like.
Yeah, usually last time they would just go for cash and not care about all the other modes of payment.
I think that is still happening for other taxi companies. There are taxi companies where they display that outside the taxi, they display, oh, go cashless, use Nets. And then when you take the cab, you ask the driver, can I use Nets? They say cannot. There are still others, but I feel that with the ComfortDelGro app, you get a lot of better service from the taxi drivers.
Yes,
Because they are aware of the competition that they are facing with the private hire apps.
that's great lah. That comes with competition, right? That we mentioned about a few episodes ago.
I think this is a running theme that we keep mentioning. Like when there's competition, I think at the end of the day, the consumers, the customers, the clients, they are the ones that benefit the most. because they know that they are getting the best that they can get.
I think now is about time for us to remind you as viewers. If you have any other opinions or suggestions regarding the apps that we've mentioned before,
Or like to share
share.
with us like some of your experiences.
yeah. So maybe if in your case, or which apps are better, what benefits that are comparable between the different apps are.
And because I have a lack of experience in Grab personally, I think you also, Ari.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us why you are using Grab and what are the benefits that you have gotten from using Grab. Because I've pretty much avoided it and I don't want to try it anymore. Maybe you guys can convince us that Grab is the dopest shit in town.
Alright, so we will move on to the next mode of transport, which is
Bicycles?
rental bikes here in Singapore. It's booming. It's a booming industry.
Bike sharing.
It started off with O bikes. Now we have OFO and Mo bikes. Actually,
There's more. There's G bikes.
Oh my god.
There's what's the other one? OFO, Mobike, O Bike, G bikes.
But the more prominent ones are OFO, Mobike, and O bike. So I think for me personally, I've been when O bike came into the scene, I immediately went for it and tried because my route to work, it's shared by ITE students. It's not that I don't like them, but the timing of me going to work is with them. So I personally take bus 31, and usually it's full jam packed with students.
Oh, because when you go to work, the students are also going to school.
Yes.
This reminds me of my time in RP where because all of us are going to, because in RP especially all of us go to school at the same time. On the weekday in the mornings, right, the whole of Woodlands interchange will be packed with RP students. So I think
but I
competing with
appreciate-
students is something that you face lah.
Yeah, but I do appreciate SBS for introducing the bus 31A that does a smaller loop, smaller route lah.
To
But
relieve
that
this.
in itself is not enough. So when O bike came along, I didn't mind paying the deposit of $50, and because it introduces me to a different mode of transport that I have grown to enjoy, like the freedom of riding. I may not have a motorbike license, but I've grown to love how riding to work or traveling without a roof, like really like having the wind blowing, and if I lack of a breakfast or something, I can just swing by a coffee shop and buy something, then move on from there.
Oh yeah.
So I love using
The freedom
that.
of it, right?
Yes, correct. But with the introduction of Mobikes and O bikes, they have OFO bikes. They have introduced a different thing to counter O bikes, which is like the bare essentials. For example, like the seat, where for O bike you have to manually shake the seat up to adjust your seat, or the lack of a gear system. So Mobike and OFO has introduced a gearing system, which is wow. O bikes are rental bikes in general are very heavy. So it is part of their security thing, which I understand. But having gearing system really lightens the load, and I think it's really good lah that they are doing this. How about you? Which rental bike company would you prefer?
So my journey with this is I started the same as Ari. I started with O bikes, and I do share what you're saying. O bikes are freaking heavy to cycle, and
Yep.
it's so difficult to use. But I accepted it when it first came out as like what Ari has mentioned. Is maybe a security feature. They don't want to make it too easy for people to steal the bikes and all that. But when the competition started heating up and more people started to enter the market, more people, we're talking about OFO. Actually, before OFO, I was using Mobikes. And then Mobike came along. I think what made it interesting, right, is that Mobike started to introduce the geared bicycle. So you have gear 1 to gear 3. Gear 1 being the lightest to cycle, gear 2 being like the middle ground. I think gear 2 like is the gear that you will use the most often after getting the momentum, and then gear 3 is the heaviest, which you will use when you're moving really fast. So, but Mobikes, when they implemented, I was very excited for the geared bicycles by Mobikes, but when they implemented the geared bicycles for Mobike, it wasn't 100%. So only like 20% or 10% of the bicycles had gears, and I found it very difficult to go around and look for Mobikes, not just a Mobike, but a Mobike that has gear, because I find it more pleasurable to ride. It was nicer to ride lah, basically. And then I kind of stopped using because it was so difficult to find the geared bicycles. Because I work at Bugis, and in Bugis area I found that there are a lot of Mobikes, but most of them are the non-geared Mobikes.
Manual bicycles.
Yeah,
non-gear lah.
Non-gear, yeah. So then I moved house. I moved from Choa Chu Kang to Yishun. Then I realized in Yishun, what I realized here is that the different apps, right, they got different market. So when I moved to Yishun, I realized that Yishun is heavily occupied by OFO. And I was quite reluctant on using OFO because I already put in a deposit for Mobikes. And you already put $50 in. So that is good to make you invested in the brand. But then you can't, if you can't find the bicycle, then what's the point of being invested in the brand? Like, what's the point of having brand loyalty? I think a few episodes ago I was talking about brand loyalty in terms of cameras, but this one is brand loyalty in terms of bike sharing apps. Then I realized, then I kind of gave up. I still wanted to use Mobike because I already put the $50. So I always actively look for Mobikes if I want to use. But in Yishun there's not a lot. And then in Yishun there's a lot of OFO. But then I realized OFO started to put this kind of advertisement on their bikes where they say something very special.
No deposit required.
Then I started to open my eyes and like, hey, maybe I could use this OFO. All I needed to do was put in my credit card details inside and started to use OFO. And then you know what's the better thing? I realized OFO bikes had better seats. That means the seats are much more easy to customize according to your height, because it's just a one touch. You just touch like one part of it, one button, and then it just raise up on its own. Because I'm a tall person, I need to adjust my seat every time I change bikes. And also, on top of that, they had the same gear system, the 1, 2, 3 gear system, that not only that, it's the same brand. It's the same brand as the one that is being used by Mobikes. And there's no deposit. And in Yishun where I live, there's a lot more OFO. So now I use OFO all the time. Once in a while, I will use a Mobike.
I am so tempted to try the OFO bikes because, if I'm not wrong, OFO and Mobikes are offering free rides for the
this whole month,
of
yeah.
October.
Yeah.
What are you doing, O Bikes? Get left behind by these two other companies. So I'm gonna try OFO bikes today when we're gonna go out for lunch later. And I think it's best if we move on to the next type of app that you guys should be should try downloading.
Have you tried it though? I have it in my phone, this app, but I haven't used it yet. I think this is the kind of app whereby you just keep it in your phone, preparing for something that you don't want to happen.
Okay, so the reason why I introduced this to Shaggy, I was reluctant to, because I saw this app going around and I was reluctant to download it.
And there was some controversy online because NS NSFs were being forced to download it.
NSFs were being forced. And while I was going to a lift lobby in one of the flats, I noticed that the SCDF is going around.
The Singapore Civil Defence,
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Going around to residences, houses, to teach them about this app. And what is the app? It's the SG Secure app.
Yeah.
What is it actually really about?
I don't know.
If I tried downloading it just now, and I saw it's about terrorist attack.
Is it really just about terrorism?
Let me try looking at it via screen recording. Pretty simple app. It's what I saw, what happened, and it lists location coordinates, GPS location, and just submit what happens, and the authority will review it and see whether it's a threat to us citizens. There's also the emergency call tab below, and under alerts, currently there's no details found.
I think it's part of like the Singapore government's initiative to do this smart nation, right? So they know. What I noticed is that over the past few decades, right, Singapore has been actively getting its citizens to be very up to date with technology, and now that we have reached a situation whereby most of us here in Singapore have smartphones, even the elderly and all that.
Oh, dude, you can SMS the police for SOS, bomb blast, I'm in danger, shooting heard, or just compose a message. It's like a blast, it's just a short message to the police. Oh my god, this is...
So essentially, this SG Secure app is another way for us to communicate with the Home Affairs
or home team.
Home team. Home team includes our police and our civil defense, firefighters, paramedics, to tell them that something is happening. So this app is just to make it easy for that lah, I guess.
So that people don't just clock one line of the 999 call hotline.
Or maybe they don't want the 999. No, they maybe 999 calling 999 is not enough. Maybe what they wanted to do is they want more details. So yeah, in the report page of the app, you know that you have to give them photos and give them a short description, and also to give them coordinates. I think this is much faster than calling and then telling them, and then
I don't know where I am. I'm at this street, or there's a lot of people. I heard this and that. So if you supply the authorities with images, and a lot of people getting so many images, and them detecting the GPS coordinate, then they are better able to assess how to enter the affected zone, and better manage the crisis.
It's so interesting how our Singapore government is trying to crowdsource security. I think that's what SG Secure app is about. Crowdsourcing security to get the best information before they act on a threat.
I think it's a good initiative, and I'm very thankful that they have done this for us, and I think we should all try to download the app. I'm not trying to promote this because I'm part of them, but curiosity brought me to this situation which I told Shaggy about, and apparently he has already downloaded it silently. And if I'm not wrong, Jana has deleted
The thing is, Jana works at the science center, and the Home Affairs people or the police came down to her workplace to tell them about it. So I think the government is very serious about getting all the citizens prepared with this app before a real threat actually happens. Are they anticipating something? I don't know, but they're making it very obvious that they want us all to have this app as soon as we can.
Let me summarize again about today's episode. We shared with you, because of the SMRT problem, you have other alternatives to use, which is the buses, the cabs and private hire, as well as the rental bikes, and on a special edition, the Secure app. So all in all, if you guys have other apps that you're currently using and it's useful and you want to share with us or share with other viewers, do comment down below and share with us.
Like, to elaborate, it's like, what other interesting apps do people in Singapore use that maybe we can also look at and explore? So far, these are the apps that we commonly use, except for the SG Secure app. The SG Secure app is an app that I hope I will never need to use. It's like a prevention, you know. It's something that you have, but you hope you don't use. But the other apps are the apps that you commonly use here in Singapore to get yourself around the island, and at the same time reduce our reliance on private vehicles that are very bad for the environment.
Yep. So I think that's all for this week. It's gonna be a short, sharp show, the podcast for this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Ari.
And I'm Shaggy. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.